rehab center in Hollywood.
Now the site of a grisly murder. Daniel Benson, the son of legendary studio head Scott Benson, was pushed to his death from that 10-story balcony here at the Clarendon Rehab Center. The center is now in lockdown. One patient dead, another missing. The missing patient is 18-year-old Molly LaRussa, the dead man's girlfriend.
Now, we're told by Assistant District Attorney Lang,
An eyewitness heard Molly and Daniel fighting in Daniel's room before the murder, then saw Molly push Daniel off the balcony to his death. Molly is the daughter of Beverly Hills restaurant owner Frank LaRussa.
Has she ever checked out a rehab before?
She leaves the center all the time.
That's why celebrities love the Clarendon Center. They can come and go whenever they want. Clubbing, getting drugs.
You told me to send her there, Tom.
No, I told you to send her to rehab, like the Betty Ford clinic.
I heard this place was the best. Plus, I wanted to be close in case she needed me. Since her mom died, she's been depressed. She blames herself for what happened. The counselors say it's why she uses drugs.
You know Molly, right?
Yeah. Yeah, since she was 12. I eat at Frank's place a lot. She hangs out there. Molly's like a little sister to me. And she's had problems, but she's working through them. She's a good kid.
She's a drug addict. Does she have a criminal record?
No. And if she left the center before this happened, she may not even know she's wanted for murder.
Well, I guess we better find her before the police do.
Now, we are told that Daniel and Molly were dating while they were in rehab, but split 2 weeks ago.
Is that true?
I don't know. She hasn't talked to me much since I sent her there. I try, but she always thinks I'm judging her. We used to be so close, you know, but the last few years, it's been hard. I love her more than anything in the world. Sending her to the center, I was trying to help her.
You did the right thing, Frank.
2 days in jail might have scared her straight.
Boy, is this girl Molly dumb or what? My buddy at Rampart tells me LAPD found her credit card on the balcony from where the guy took off. They had the card field tested. There's heroin all over it.
Betsy, this is Molly's dad, Frank. He's a friend of mine.
Harrison.
Who the hell is that?
Betsy Harrison, private investigator. She works for Luther.
Works for the firm, Ron. She's ex-LAPD. Used to handle drug cases with me when I was a DA. If anyone can find your daughter, she can.
They found her car, corner of Sunset and Ivar. If you're gonna run, you gotta get farther than that.
She's not running. If she left rehab, it's for one reason, to get drugs.
Betsy checked 3 clubs. So far, no luck.
There are a dozen places she could be. We'll keep looking. Have you seen my friend Molly LaRussa? Cute, dark hair.
Molly.
Tom? Molly? What are you doing here? What's going on?
Daniel's dead.
Dead? Tom, don't tell my dad about the club and that girl. All the times you helped me before, you never said a word, okay? Just don't tell him.
Oh, Molly. What happened? Were you there when that boy died?
Leave Frank, now.
What? No. I'm staying with her.
Look, Frank, what she tells us is privileged. What she says in front of you isn't. There's no father-daughter privilege.
Frank, please. We have a lot of questions, but not a lot of time.
I wasn't there. I don't know anything.
Were you and Daniel dating?
Yeah, we used to. But we broke up a while ago. I didn't even see him today.
Daniel was killed at 4:30 p.m. Where have you been for the last 6 hours?
I left the center around 2, I think. I went to my dad's. I wanted to relax. I watched TV for a little while, and then I got dressed and I went to the club.
Police found your credit card in Daniel's room lined with heroin.
I must have left it there before. I swear.
Are you on drugs now?
No.
Give us a second. Get her tested and keep Frank away from her until this case is over.
He's her dad, Ron. He's worried. Molly's his only child. He's gonna want to be there for her.
He spent his life being there for her. Hasn't done her much good.
Luther's right. Frank's been too easy on her. Now we're in charge. Think of it as an intervention.
Dr. Shaw.
Heroin metabolizes pretty quickly, but she's got traces in her bloodstream. So she lied about using. Now I don't believe a word she's told us.
When did you do the heroin?
A friend of mine had some at the club tonight. I was just chipping. It's not like I was shooting up.
There's a warrant out for her arrest.
They've got a warrant, we've got to turn her in. If we don't, it looks like she's hiding. And hiding is bad. Hiding looks guilty.
The police are going to drug test her when we turn her in. If they find heroin, it puts her in the room with Daniel. Proves she had an opportunity to kill him.
Only if the DA can connect the heroin in her system to the heroin found at the crime scene. Maybe we should keep Molly here until the drugs wear off.
I have a better idea. Have her father bring her some new clothes. We'll clean her up and toss her back on the street. We can find an AA meeting in Hollywood, can't we?
Here. Help cleanse the drugs from your system quicker.
Are these legal?
They're magnesium. They just help speed up the metabolic process and flush the pathogens out of your system.
This is new. You guys are destroying evidence now.
No, this is different. Here we're just helping along a natural biological process. Take the pill.
You ready?
I guess so.
Let's do this.
LAPD tip line.
Pay attention, I'm saying this one time. The girl you're looking for from the rehab center is at the following address. It's a church. I told my friend at the LAPD to lay off the cuffs if they found her.
Thanks. Your dad was hoping it was just a phase she was going through. Clubs, drinking, drugs. She's gonna be okay, right? I mean, she could pull out of this. She's got problems.
Drugs, alcohol, sex, history of lying, and now a murder charge. I'd say she had a lot of problems.
%100% innocent.
I'm the innocent bystander. Somehow I got stuck between a rock and a hard place. And the lawyers got some money.
Like I always say, if you got the right lawyer with you, we've got the greatest legal system in the world.
Ron Trott, your client Molly LaRussa just got bail, and it has angered prosecutors. They are saying she's a flight risk because she ran from the murder scene.
Molly didn't run. She was at church. She didn't know anyone was looking for her. And we don't know that it was murder. He was troubled. That's why he was in rehab. This could have been suicide. And I sure would like to know why a rehab center has windows and balconies.
So you're saying the center is responsible for Daniel's death?
Why not? Yes, the windows are supposed to be locked, but they clearly weren't.
So Molly is innocent?
Absolutely. Harvey Levin, great guy. You give him an exclusive and he gets a guest spot on every entertainment show on prime time. So where are we?
Our story is Molly wasn't at the center the afternoon Daniel died. Someone else committed the murder and framed her.
The DA's story is that Molly pushed Daniel off the balcony after they had a fight.
What about suicide?
They have an eyewitness that supports their story. Her name's Kate Lambert. Like Molly, she's a patient at the center in rehab for heroin. She told the police that she heard Molly and Daniel screaming at each other the day Daniel died. Later, she said she was walking towards the building when she saw Molly push Daniel off the balcony.
If she's an addict, she's a liar. They all are.
And that's a little harsh.
Not if you've dealt with them.
Luther's right. There's no reason to believe her.
Alden, figure out how we can attack her testimony and get Dr. Shaw over to the crime scene. See if you can recreate how Daniel fell.
It may help us uncover the truth.
Luther, go through the discovery. Maybe the DA overlooked evidence that points to someone else.
We've got a building of addicts. I'd say they're all possible suspects.
Tom, your first chair. You're trying the case. You know Molly, she likes you. See if she can give us an alibi for the murder and start to prepare her to testify at trial.
Okay.
And keep an eye on her. She needs to stay out of trouble before the trial.
She's all right. She used drugs, but she's not like the guys who prosecuted Luther. Oh, since I brought him in, do you want me to handle Frank?
No, I'll take care of him. He's footing the bill. Oh, I know. He loves his daughter. If we can't save her, he's not going to make it. I get it.
No one saw you leave the center?
No, I don't think so.
And no one saw you at your dad's house either?
No, I told you, nobody was home.
Great, so you've got no alibi.
But I can testify, right? I can tell the jury what I watched on TV and what time everything happened.
But we have to back it up. We just can't rely on your word.
Because I'm just a strung-out addict. A loser, right?
The DA is going to try and paint that picture, yeah.
Is that what you think?
I knew you before you started using drugs, so no, that's not what I think. Look, is there anybody at the center that can testify on your behalf?
No. The people at rehab don't like me. Except for Daniel. No one could figure out why he was so interested in me. I was nobody. My dad made pizzas. They all hated me.
Well, right now, the only people you need to be worried about are the jurors. You have one job to do. Take care of yourself until trial. No clubbing, no drinking, and no drugs. All right?
Why can't I see her? I can help her calm down.
I know you're worried about her, Frank, but she's under enough stress. Seeing you upset is only going to make things worse.
You gotta promise me that you're gonna take care of her.
We will. Sit down.
I've tried to do everything I can since her mom died.
Molly was driving the car the night her mother died in the accident.
How do you deal with guilt like that? She blames herself. The guilt is what drives her to the drugs. I've tried to be a good father, but you don't know. I work all these hours in the restaurant thinking that I'll be able to give her everything she needs, but you turn around one day, it's hard to raise kids.
I know. That's why I never had any.
You and me working a drug case. Feels like 1998 again, except we always won those cases.
The DA wins over 90% of their cases. Defense work is a lot harder.
You miss it? Doing God's work?
Sometimes. The pay's better here. My kids get to have toppings with their pizza now.
You'll go back. You're not really a defense lawyer. You are a prosecutor at heart. You can't work for Ron Trott for the rest of your career.
I heard that.
I figured. I saw your reflection in the glass when you came in. So I'll get these eyewitness statements and LAPD reports to Alden.
She knows I signed her checks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, is that why you don't try more cases here? You're ashamed of being a defense attorney?
Not ashamed of anything, Ron.
Shouldn't be. You've won every case you've tried for us. I just wish you'd try more of them.
I tried hundreds of cases as a DA. Here I try the ones I have to try. I don't need to try more than that.
None of us need to try cases.
Tom does. So do you.
Good luck with the discovery.
The scene's been released and cleaned up. There's a lot of information, but it's all inconclusive. The bottom line is we don't know what happened. The police report says that Daniel's body was discovered 9 feet from the side of the building. It says that he went through the awning and landed on his stomach.
These look like scratch marks on his cheek. Police dig any glass fragments out of his face that could have caused these?
The report doesn't mention it. Kate Lambert, the eyewitness, said she was standing over here when she saw Molly push Daniel. What do you think? Is it possible?
Depends on her vision, the angle she was looking up. We asked the witness if she wears glasses.
I haven't had the chance. Since Daniel died, the LAPD moved Kate to a new center, and they won't say where. I'm gonna have to file a discovery motion to find out.
Let's go look upstairs.
Here's the LAPD photo of this area.
I found Molly's credit card out here. Probably the photo's bad. What is that, a shadow?
Looks like a watermark or stain. What about fingerprints?
Police found 5 sets of prints on this railing. 2 sets belonged to center janitors, both of whom had alibis. 1 set belonged to Daniel, 1 set belonged to Molly. She told us she'd been up here several times before. There's 1 set of prints they haven't identified yet.
The LAPD won't try to identify them either now that they've charged Molly with the murder. Is it possible he flipped over this railing accidentally?
Only if he fell straight down. But he didn't. He traveled almost 6 feet away from the balcony's edge.
What could explain that?
Hard to say. He wasn't a big guy. Maybe someone lifted him over the railing and threw him off.
My partner says the autopsy found your nails in Daniel's face. You scratched him.
This is bad, and lying is only gonna make it worse, so don't. Not to me.
Daniel and I tried to stop seeing each other. But it was hard, you know? That day, he called me. He said he wanted me to come to his room and he was gonna hurt himself unless I saw him. He knew exactly how to play me. When I got there, he was messed up. He'd been using. He came on to me. And it got rough. He slapped me hard across the face. And I tried pushing him away and I told him to stop, but he wouldn't listen. So I fought him off. I scratched him. And then I ran.
The guy's face showed they fought the day he was killed. He had bruises on his abdomen, right? So he could have been slammed against the railing and flipped over. I mean, just because Molly's small doesn't mean she couldn't have done it. Oh, and let's not forget, someone saw her do it. She's toast.
You're working for the defense now, not the police. Your job is to challenge the evidence, not embrace it. What about the crime scene? Did you learn anything that can help us attack their eyewitness?
We noticed some things that could have blocked Kate Lambert's view of the balcony. The glass awning, an art sculpture on the ground, big planters on the balcony. I'm hoping our reenactment proves that she couldn't see the balcony at all.
Have we found her, or is the LAPD still hiding her?
Still hiding. The court granted my discovery motion, but the LAPD is still dragging their feet on turning over her address. They do that with important witnesses.
Don't look at me, I never did it.
Either way, they have to give it to us eventually, and when they do, we'll be ready for her.
We better be. We usually only get one crack at their main witnesses before trial.
One good thing, Daniel's talk screen supports Molly's story that Daniel was on heroin the night he died. And it doesn't match the heroin that we found in Molly's system before we detoxed her. So the police can't use the heroin to place Molly at the scene.
So maybe the person that gave Daniel that heroin killed him. Is there any way to track where the heroin in Daniel's body came from?
Dealers are into marketing. They cut it, package it, and sell it as a specific brand. Now, the DEA can trace brands to particular dealers by analyzing the purity and composition of different batches. If Dr. Shaw gets me the quinine, fentanyl, and glucose levels found in the dead kid's system, I'll run them by the DEA. Now, they'll cross-reference the dead kid's tox screen results with the other dopers who've tested positive for the same brand. You match with the other dopers in the system, you can narrow your search for the dealer you're looking for. Hollywood, Gower to Western, Sunset to Santa Monica. The only source of heroin on this block is this club, and the only guy selling it is the bouncer Dave. Now, since Molly hangs out here, I'm guessing he sold to her, too.
This is the bastard that supplies Molly? I can't wait to ask him why he's screwing up her life.
Take it easy. We need this guy to tell us who he sold the heroin to. Whoever it was is a prime suspect. Getting angry at him won't help.
Now, Luther tried to work him, but Dave says he wants to cut a deal with the famous Ron Trott. I guess defense lawyers are into marketing, too, huh, Ron?
Mr. Trott, I'm Dave. I'm a huge fan. Hey, if I ever get arrested...
Did you sell drugs to someone at the center or not?
What do I get if I tell you?
What you get is that we don't turn you into the police or sue you on behalf of Molly's father for poisoning his daughter.
Tom, outside. Now. Here. First of all, let me say, we're going to pay your full medical. The ER, the X-ray is getting your jaw reset. Don't try to talk. Just write down where we can send the check and put down who you sold the drugs to at the center. The hitting was wrong, but everything my partner said was right. If you don't tell us, we can make your life difficult. It's going to be bad for your business. I mean, you don't need the publicity. Yes, we can sue drug dealers for wrongful death, for damaging a person's health, just like we can sue tobacco companies. Most law firms are just too scared to do it. We're not. You ready for this? He's got one buyer at the center, a counselor. Her name is Amber Wilson. Luther's first chair now. He's going to try this.
What? You can't pull me off this.
Sure I can. I just did.
I made a mistake, but it's still his case. He and Molly have a strong connection.
I know, it's a problem. It keeps him from doing his best work.
Are you telling me I can't be a professional, Ron?
Ask the guy in there spitting his teeth out like they're chiclets if you can be a professional. Professional fighter, maybe. Not professional lawyer, not on this one.
Okay, look. I'm sorry. Hitting him was wrong, but I gave my word, Ron. I promised Frank I would take this to trial. I mean, come on, these people are my friends. And no offense, but Luther's an ex-DA. He hates drug addicts.
Yes, he hates them. In fact, he doesn't particularly like Molly. That's why he can be a professional. That's why he's trying this case, not you.
Since I'm first chair, I'm trying the case. I just want to make sure we are all on the same page. Where's Tom?
He'll be here, I'm sure.
Better get started. Amber Wilson, a counselor, brought drugs into the center. But we don't know if she gave the drugs to Daniel that day. Whoever did give the drugs to Daniel that day is our suspect. Where are we with the eyewitness?
We found out where she is, and we can prove she's a liar. There's no way she saw Molly push Daniel off the balcony. She said she was outside the building when it happened. We noticed some things on the balcony that could have blocked Kate's view. The awnings, some planters. She was standing 5 feet from the building, looking up at a balcony that was 10 stories in the air. Here's what she saw. You can't tell the identity of a person from 100 feet away, and at that angle, it would have been impossible.
So we need to figure out why the eyewitness would lie.
Why aren't you in the war room? You're supposed to be on time.
I was checking in with Frank. The guy's in hell, Ron.
Well, check in with Luther. He's first chair now. He's trying the case. You know those dogs in Alaska that pull sleds in that race?
The Iditarod?
Yeah. You know what they do to the lead dog when he's not the lead dog anymore?
No, Ron, what?
They shoot him. Once they're not lead dog, they go crazy. We can't afford to shoot you, Tom. Learn to be a second chair. It's a skill worth having. Luther's going to talk to Molly to see if she knows anything about Amber or the eyewitness. Go with him.
So Kate was willing to blame you for murder because you weren't part of the cool kids. That's what you're saying.
No, she blamed me because she was a bitch.
Come on, Molly, you can't.
Tom, the jury isn't going to believe that she's framing you for murder because you two don't like each other.
It's true. Why don't you believe me? Do you believe me?
Don't ask Tom. Doesn't matter what he believes. It's the jury that counts. Amber Wilson, did you know that she supplied drugs to people at the center?
I don't know her. She wasn't my counselor.
We think Amber supplied heroin to Daniel the day he died.
I don't know her.
What'd you find out about Amber?
She's a loser. Multiple arrests for possession and distribution of coke, heroin, and meth. In 2001, she was ordered by the court to attend a state-run rehab facility up north. Within 2 months, she was placed on probation for punching another patient. 4 months later, she was almost expelled after she was caught sneaking marijuana into the facility. After a year of intense therapy, Amber became a model patient, found God, 12 steps, yoga, blah, blah, blah. They asked her to stay on and counsel other addicts, and she ended up feeding their drug habits instead.
Good. Now I'm ready for her. She's either going to tell us who gave the drugs to Daniel, or she's going to tell us she did it herself. Either way, we've got someone to blame for Daniel's death other than Molly.
I heard Molly was doing really well with recovery. How's she doing? Is she okay?
She's holding up. Did she seem like a murderer?
I don't know what a murderer looks like. But I heard that Molly was a deeply troubled soul.
Like yourself.
I'm grateful for the path I took in life because it led me here.
So everything's worked out for you. You're clean, you're sober, you have a career, successful drug business on the side.
You know how heroin got into Daniel's body before he died, don't you?
Give us the name of who supplied it to him. Or you can walk away. And we'll have no choice but to assume that it was you.
I need to get back to my patients.
She's been around enough to know if she could blame someone else, now was the time. She didn't because she couldn't, because she gave the drugs to Daniel herself. Let's go talk to the eyewitness, Kate Lambert.
I did hear them fighting. I walked by Daniel's room. I heard Molly screaming.
Do you remember what time that was?
Early afternoon, sometime maybe.
I have a copy of your schedule from that day. It says here that you were in group therapy from 1 to 3 and Bible study from 3 to 5. That doesn't leave a lot of time to stroll the 10th floor, does it?
You were just transferred here to this new rehab center, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You like it?
Yeah. The people are nice.
It's good to have people to pull strings for you. The police got you here, away from us and our questions. That's what happened, right?
I don't know.
But you do know that your parents talked the court into getting you into rehab instead of prison. You wouldn't like prison. See, we know you're lying about seeing Molly push Daniel. We think you're lying about hearing them fight. Now, I'm gonna warn you. Judges don't like perjurers. If you get caught lying in court about what you saw or heard, you can forget about rehab, because you will go to prison.
I did hear them fight. It may have been about this thing that Molly was having with one of the counselors here.
What thing?
I saw them making out once. Her and this counselor, Amber Wilson.
Kate Lambert says Amber distributed drugs during individual therapy sessions. Kate was a patient and a client. We can argue that she gave her drugs and blackmailed her into being a witness against Molly.
So how do we handle Molly's affair with her?
What affair? It's Hollywood. Girls kiss. It could have been an isolated event.
We need to find out. Run the mysterious fingerprints you and Dr. Shaw found on the balcony against Amber's police prints. If they're a match, we can put Amber at the crime scene. Between that, the drug dealing, the relationship, we can prove motive, opportunity.
Do we think the DA knows any of this information?
We found Amber through Dave, the drug dealer. He isn't going to talk to the cops.
Tell Tom to talk to Molly. See what she says about Amber now. Talk to Frank. He needs to hear about all of this from us before he hears it on the TV.
If anyone is guilty, it's the center. They don't stop drug use, they encourage it. It's like a party there. One of the counselors was bringing drugs into the center and having sex with a patient.
You promised me you wouldn't tell my father.
I didn't promise. A good lawyer would never make that promise. Everything we know, we need to be able to use in court.
But you always got me out of things. You never told him before. I trusted you.
This isn't a curfew violation or skipping school, Molly. This is a murder charge. And don't talk to me about trust. You lied to me.
I didn't lie.
You told us you didn't know her. You had a chance to tell us everything you knew. You didn't. Now, did Amber kill Daniel?
No.
You need to tell me about your relationship with this woman. Was it just a kiss, an affair? What?
I was lonely. Amber listened. I just felt taken care of. It was wrong. We both knew it was wrong. I told her it had to stop, but she just got more possessive and jealous and weird. And the day that he was murdered, when he came on to me and he slapped me, I went and I told her and she went crazy. I think she went to find him.
How'd it go with Molly? Bad? Get ready, it gets worse.
I just spoke to the DA. Amber Wilson has confessed and pled guilty to the murder of Daniel Benson.
That's great, right?
She is receiving a reduced sentence in return for testifying against Molly. She has become a cooperating co-defendant. She claims she and Molly did the murder together.
You did this, Ron, going on TV. You turned Amber against Molly. You promised me that you'd take care of her, and you didn't. This is your fault.
I asked Ron to go on TV, Frank.
Why are you even trying the case? You don't like Molly.
Whether I like her or not, I'm trying to keep her out of jail.
Amber flipping Molly is a good thing. It means the DA has a weak case. They don't give deals to killers unless they have to.
Don't lie to me. I'm not stupid. Amber swears she and Molly committed murder.
You know how often this happens? DAs cut deals with guilty people because they'd rather get convictions than lose cases. Look, if the fact she was with a woman is upsetting you...
I'm not mad about that. She can love whoever she wants to. I don't know my own daughter very well.
It's going to be okay, Frank. I'm going to prove that Amber killed Daniel alone. Now we have her fingerprints at the scene. She had motive. She loved your daughter and she was jealous of Daniel. And she has a motive to lie. She doesn't want to go to prison for the rest of her life. Trial starts tomorrow. If they could prove Molly was guilty, they would not need Amber.
Unnamed sources say Amber Wilson will testify that the younger woman seduced her, then manipulated her into committing murder.
Any chance we can claim that everything Molly said in rehab was privileged?
Occupation privilege doesn't cover drug counselors or things you say in group therapy sessions.
So, Luther, what are we going to do about Amber?
I have a plan.
You want to share it?
No. When you need to know, I'll tell you. How's our demonstration?
It shows one person committed the murder, not two.
That's great.
For it to work, we need Amber to be involved in it, and doing a demonstration with a hostile witness is dangerous.
Forget it, it's too risky. Molly's gonna have to testify instead.
Tom's getting her ready, but she's pretty stressed out.
DA delivered new discovery.
On Amber Wilson, I hope.
Sort of. They're letters Molly wrote to Amber.
They're love letters.
More like porn. These girls were crazy and they hated Daniel.
They read my letters? God, they're gonna think I'm a lesbian or something, right?
No, they think you're a killer, Molly, and I wouldn't worry about what they think of your sex life. Those letters are gonna bury you. You talked about getting rid of them.
We were just venting. We didn't mean it. I'm gonna be sick.
Come on, pull it together. We need you to take the stand tomorrow, confident.
Confident? Give me a drink or something stronger.
What did you just say to me?
I was kidding. It was a joke.
You have to stay clean, Molly. I told you. No drugs, no drinking.
I dream of making love to you all the time. Can't you tell?
When did the defendant send that letter to you?
A week after we started the affair. Why can't we live together? When I'm clean, we could find a place, but we have to deal with Daniel, make him go away. All the letters are the same. She says she loves me. She wants to be with me. She wants us to be a couple.
Why did you agree to kill Daniel?
It was Molly's idea. Daniel was threatening to out us. That day, Molly begged him to leave us alone, but he got rough. He laughed at her, he slapped her. We went to see him to ask him to redirect his anger at Molly to something more productive. But he just got very confrontational. He kept saying he would destroy us. That was his word. Molly said we couldn't be together until we got rid of Daniel.
The jury believes Amber's story. Molly has to refute it on the stand. Is she ready?
I don't know, honestly. She's pretty fragile right now. What?
You've been so worried about taking care of Molly, you're losing sight of your job. You're supposed to be getting Molly ready to testify. You want to know why Molly's so troubled? She's surrounded by enablers. And you're one of them.
Where have you been? What are you doing up here?
Nothing. Thinking.
Are you drunk?
Yeah. Tequila. You want some? Are we gonna have to work late again? I hope so.
What are you doing? Molly, stop it. Stop it. Molly,
Tom, no,
stop it.
No, Tom.
Molly,
Come
come on. Molly, stop. Molly, enough! You gotta stop doing this to yourself.
Drunk. The condition of her bail is that she stay away from alcohol and drugs.
I know, Ron, I know.
This is not a big surprise. She's an addict. This is not the first client we've had go off the rails, Ron. Trials break people.
Our job is to make sure they don't. Explain to me why we can't control an 18-year-old girl.
I don't know. It was my job to keep her out of trouble and to get her ready for the trial. I was too close. I didn't realize what bad shape she was in.
Anything else?
Like what?
Besides the drinking, did she say or do anything else we need to worry about?
Is there any chance we can use her in court?
If I was trying the case, I wouldn't put her on the stand. Luther, I'm sorry.
The DA managed to delay her direct examination of Amber until the very end of the day. The jury went home with it fresh in their minds, and they've had a whole night to let Amber's story transform into truth. The case comes down to your cross.
Good. I was hoping it would. That was my plan. Once the DA made her his prime witness, she became our prime suspect.
So you're prepared for this?
I'd better be. If I can't take Amber out, Molly's going to be convicted. Ms. Wilson, my client denies having helped you kill Daniel.
I'm not surprised. She's always lied.
So we agree. One of you is lying.
Yes.
This is simple then. If the jury believes you, they should convict Molly. If they don't, They should acquit her. You think they should believe you because you're such an honest, trustworthy person?
No, I've lied.
So
but
you are a liar?
I've lied in my life, but
That's not a question. That's a fact. You've been a liar your whole life. You've lied to get drugs. You've lied to get money to buy drugs.
One of the symptoms of the disease of addiction is lying.
To family, to friends. Lying to a jury of strangers must be easy.
I'm telling the truth now.
Because you've recovered from your disease of addiction.
That's right.
So you told your employers at the center that you had an affair with my client. You wrote her letters, had sex with her, sold drugs to patients. Oh, right. You lied about all that.
I admit it was a horrible betrayal. I'm ashamed of it. But Molly and I both lied about the affair. I lied to the sinner and she lied to her father. We are both addicts. We both suffer from the same disease.
If you're both liars, the jury can't believe either of you, which means the DA can't prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt, which means this jury has to acquit. That's just an observation. I'll move on. You confessed to murder. Then you cut a deal to lie about my client. Because if you told the truth and admitted that you killed Daniel alone, you would go away for life. It's a strong motive to lie.
No, I am not lying. Molly and I did this together.
Your Honor, I'd like the witness to participate in a demonstration. Show us how you and Molly threw Daniel over the balcony.
Daniel was standing here at the rail. Molly was a few feet behind Daniel, and to his right, I was to the left of Molly.
Was Daniel facing the two of you, or did he have his back to you?
He was facing us, calling us names. That's when Molly and I pushed him over.
Hold it. If he was facing the two of you, how did he get the contusions on his stomach?
I don't know. Maybe he got cut going through the glass.
Where exactly were you and Molly standing when you pushed him over?
I was standing here. Molly was here.
Where was the planter? All the balconies at the center have a planter. It wasn't there when the police got to the scene. But it left a watermark, an outline of where it was. Defense Exhibit 132. It shows there was a planter in the exact same spot you said Molly was standing in. Now, if there was a planter there that day, two people couldn't fit on that balcony. You and Molly couldn't have been where you said you were when Daniel died. Did you move the planter after Daniel died? Or did the police just lose it?
You got kids? You love them more than anything in the whole world, right? But it doesn't matter. They can still go wrong. What? You think this was my fault?
I say to my kids, I am not your friend, I am your father. I probably say no to them 9 out of 10 times. And if I ever found out they'd ever used drugs, I would kill them myself.
No, you wouldn't. How old are they?
My boy is 5, my girl is 8.
Talk to me in 10 years.
Will the foreman present the verdict?
We, the jury, find the defendant, Molly LaRussa, not guilty.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
If you keep digging holes for yourself, at some point people are going to stop throwing down a rope. Like now. And sometimes lawyers fire their clients, and that's what I'm doing. I can't be your lawyer anymore, Molly.
I thought you cared about me.
I do, but it's time you grew up. And it's time you started being honest with yourself. Like how you were in love with Amber.
Come on, then. This way.
I keep telling people you're the second best trial lawyer in this firm.
Wait a minute. If you're the second best trial lawyer in the firm, what does that make me?